Hello, I'm James Howard, Executive Director of Black Inventors Hall of Fame, and I'm here to play the United Inventors Association Toy Hub Trivia. How did you become interested in design and invention? Well, that's a loaded question. I think I was born to be a designer. I was one of 8 kids. I was 7th in the lot, and I had the biggest head of all of them. So there was plenty to stack up there, and I would often take walks, daily walks through the park, just dreaming and imagining. So my childhood was filled with a lot of time to think and think creatively, and it just grew from there. When I first saw the beauty of a city, I was inspired by just how things work, how things get you from point A to point B. And my father was a tinkerer, and as we would walk throughout the city, he would always talk about inventions. He would tell me about inventor Garrett Morgan, who invented the 3-way traffic signal. And he would tell me about Elijah J. McCoy, who invented lubricating cups for locomotive trains. And this just started piquing my interest. And I just knew someday when I got older, I would want to be a designer and an inventor. But it all started from long walks on the south side of Chicago as a big-headed kid. Question number 2. What is the name of your documentary and what is it about? Well, the name of my documentary is The Gathering. And The Gathering is about 10 African-American men who had come together in Washington, D.C. to discuss matters related to toys and games and the innovative industry. All of these African-American men happen to be toy and game designers, and many of them had never met one another and were not fully aware of the breadth of accomplishments that each had garnered. So we come together and we have this conversation, and these men include the likes of Lonnie Johnson, the inventor of the Super Soaker, Elliot Eddy, the inventor of the entrepreneurial board game, the only STEM authenticated board game in the world, and Ken Johnson, the inventor of Phase 10, one of the second most popular selling card games in the world, second only to Uno. In fact, Ken is celebrating 40 years right now with his product. So we had come together and we had this conversation, and that conversation has since extended into panel discussions and tours throughout the country, what we call the Big Tour. And The Gathering is the prelude to a 3-part docu-series, which is called Black Inventors Got Game. The first part of that series will feature David Bonner of Marvel superhero fame and Ken Johnson, that I just previously mentioned, and that takes place in Long Beach, California. The second series will feature Lamont Morris of Hasbro fame and the designer and inventor of the Real Meal Oven, as well as Elliot Eddy, the inventor of the entrepreneurial board game, and that takes place in Reading, Pennsylvania. And then the third series and final series episode will include Lonnie Johnson, aforementioned inventor of the Super Soaker, and my college mentor, Charles Chuck Harrison, the designer of the second generation of the Viewmaster, designed in 1958. And that takes place back in Washington, D.C., where we had all started The Gathering. Question number 3. What are some famous toys and games invented by Black inventors? Well, I just rattled off a few: Lonnie Johnson, Elliot Eddy, Ken Johnson, but the truth of the matter is there are more. We have Yia Eason, the inventor of the He-Man, Sunman doll that she invented many years ago for her son to seek influence from African-American type toy figures. We have Jerry Lawson, who was recently actually celebrated by Google on one of Google's front pages, where they show inventors and celebrity people and highlight. And Jerry Lawson is the inventor of some of the early video cartridge games. So, you know, these are inventors that heretofore have gone unknown, many of them, and this is the reason why I started my film company, Black Inventors Hall of Fame Films, to tell these stories. Question number 4. What is the difference between a designer and an inventor? Well, that is truly a loaded question. To begin with, let's talk about commonalities. A designer and an inventor are both creative. The primary difference is in the posture they both take on creativity, where the designer may very well be content with improving the world around him, visually, functionally. The inventor has creative discontentment, and the inventor becomes a game changer, and the inventor takes the lead. So the inventor is more proactive, but they're both artistic, they're both creative, and I'll retract that. An inventor actually doesn't have to be artistic, but he must be a visionary, he must have creative discontentment, and most importantly, he has creative confidence. The confidence to challenge convention and make a difference, a game-changing difference. Question number 5. What was your favorite toy growing up? Well, for me, that's very easy. It was the Slinky. As a child, I was absolutely fascinated with this toy. It had a certain animatronic ability about it. You know, you would watch it cast down the stairs and you would question, how does it do that? Sometimes it would move in slow motion, other times it would move rapidly. And I was just absolutely fascinated with my Slinky. It could do no wrong. But what impressed me most about this toy is that it was a companion. You'd set it down and it sits there statically, but then when you pick it up, it is ready to play. And I just enjoyed it. I looked forward to getting a Slinky underneath the tree every single year as a kid, until it got to the point where nobody wanted to buy me one, so I bought my own. So, the Slinky. Now I'd like to offer up some parting advice for all those aspiring inventors out there. Think big, right? Take a pulse on your creative confidence and then make certain that you improve on that each and every day. Never stop questioning, never stop challenging, but think big. That is my parting advice for you.